Hello everyone, we are going to look at an arithmetic sequence. An arithmetic sequence in grade 12, they call it an arithmetic sequence, but it's the pattern that you were doing in the lower grade as linear pattern. So the first term is A, the next term you add a common difference. So the second term is A plus D. Then the third term is A plus 2D. This is important to remember. Okay, what is D? Is the common difference. When you subtract, difference means you subtract. You subtract two consecutive terms. Consecutive, it means two terms that follow each other. It can be anywhere in your pattern. Just take the smaller term minus the bigger one. Term 1 minus term 2, or term 6 minus term 5, or term 100 minus term 99. It doesn't matter where. And then you have the general formula. The nice thing in grade 12, the general formula, it is given in your formula sheet. So you'll be given this formula. You don't need to memorize it. Let's look at an example. We're given a pattern here, sequence 11, 5, minus 7, and minus 1, and minus 7. So the first question says, find the next two terms. For you to find the terms, you need to find the common difference, because in an arithmetic sequence, we get the next term by adding the common difference. So for our number 1, we're going to start by finding D, which is the common difference. I can take any terms. I'll take minus 7 minus 1. Okay, so my common difference is minus 6. Even if you take any, you'll get the minus 6. If they told you that this pattern is an arithmetic sequence, you don't have to test it, so you can just do it once. And then after that, on this question, you are only going to write the answers. Don't write the whole pattern again. So what you're going to do, you're going to go to the last term, which is minus 7. You say minus 7, you add minus 6. Then you get minus 13, and then you add minus 6 again. Then you get minus 19. This is what you write in your answer sheet. You don't write the whole pattern. Okay, let's look at the next question. Number 2, determine the value of the nth term. They can ask this question, they can say general term, they can say nth term. What you do, you go to your formula sheet. This is our number 2. You write the formula straight from your formula sheet. Tn is equals to, you don't get marks for this, but it increases the chances of you getting it correctly. Right? Now you substitute the values. A is the first term of the sequence. So in our sequence, the first term is 11. Plus n minus 1, and your D common difference is minus 6. Grade 12, always put the D around the bracket, whether it's negative or positive. If you don't, it becomes a term, and then you don't multiply with this whole two terms here. Then you get a wrong answer. Okay, so we have 11. Negative 6 times n, negative 6n, negative 6 times 1 plus 6. Then it's negative 6n plus 17. After you have done that, test it for yourself, because the other questions, you can use this formula. It's easier to use the formula, provided it's correct. So quickly in your mind, test it for yourself. Use term 1. Put a 1 here. So you'll have a minus 6 times 1 plus 17. Then you check it for yourself. You get a 11. So it means your formula is correct, because your first term is 11. Then you can use it in the other question. Let's look at the next question. The third question says, determine the value of 12th term. Because my formula is correct, I can easily go write the formula. Tn is equals to, you don't have to write it. You don't get marks for writing this. Right? And then you substitute, they say the 12th term. So I'm going to write T12 is equals to minus 6 times 12 plus 17. Then I punch that in my calculator. I get that it is minus 55. This question is usually 2 marks. You don't need to write that. You can write that and that. But very important, you have to test whether your formula is correct. The next question says, is 200 a term in a sequence? When they ask you if it's a term in a sequence, your n must always be a whole number. It cannot be a fraction. It cannot be negative because n is the position in the sequence. When you look at this sequence, we have 11, 5, minus 7, and minus 1 and minus 7. Minus 7 is in the fourth position. So minus 7 is T4, it's term 4. My n is 4. So n must always be positive because it's a position. You cannot be, I'm the negative third one. No. It's either you're the first one or the fifth one or the 10th one. You can't be, I'm the half one. No, it's a position. So when you get this question, when they're asking you, if a term is in the sequence, you have to calculate for n, and your n should be a positive integer. If it's a fraction, it means that number is not a term. If it's negative, it means that number is not a term on that particular sequence. Okay, then 4. You start by writing the pattern. Tn is equals to minus 6n plus 17. You don't need to write that if your maths is fine. Then Tn is the value of the term. So it's 200 is equals to minus 6n plus 17. Then 200 minus 17 is equals to minus 6n. 200 minus 17. 183 is equals to minus 6. Divide by minus 6. Divide by minus. Okay. You see my n is a fraction and it's negative. So it means 200 is not a term in the sequence. Is not a term. When they say justify, you have justified by calculating. They don't want English, they want maths. This is the end of our lesson. Thank you for watching.